Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Thanks for tuning into my YouTube live event. I'm Waller's Wallet, and today finished up CardCon. And like I told you, I wanted to come back after CardCon. I wanted to talk to you about it, tell you some things that I saw, some potential of some things coming in the future, and topics covered at CardCon. I know some of you asked me some questions, so I did my best to get them answered while I was here, and I'll answer those towards the end of this video as well. And as always, if you have questions, ask them. I will do my best to answer them as well. So we'll start talking with the rewards from credit cards. There was some talk about this from quite a few different companies, but the talk really wasn't talking about travel rewards. It was more talking about expanding experience-based rewards. And that's things like tickets to exclusive events or tickets or using your points to get you into something that you can't buy. I don't think this means that they're that they're done with travel benefits. I just think we could see an expansion of these experience-based rewards in the future because apparently their data shows them not everybody wants to use their points for travel rewards. I know some of you don't, I know I do, but I know some people do not. There was actually quite a bit of talk about interchange fees and um, how important they are for the robust earning rates as well as the rewards for customers. But what I found pretty interesting is that Doctor of Credit posted an article, I think it was today, talking about how retailers want to start rejecting certain credit cards like Visa Infinite due to the higher interchange fees. I'm seeing I see your questions. I'll answer them towards the end. Let's see. And where'd I go there? So, I'm not actually sure if this is going to happen with the interchange fees being rejected, but it really seems like banks are starting to try to outbid each other for our business and just keep that card on the top of your wallet. Because remember, I think then they said that it comes with a hefty acquisition cost for these big bonuses, as well as, the earning rates that they're really starting to offer. There were a lot of discussions for all around about finding the right customer from these banks. And it actually came from the smaller banks as well as the larger banks. So I know we look at, Citi, Chase, and them talking about restricting us, but these came from some smaller banks as well, making sure they're finding those right customers who are going to spend on those cards, and that they can kind of build that relationship with. I was actually pretty shocked to hear how many banks put a ton of effort into the appearance of a card. That was a theme, is that they want customers to see a card that they see themselves in, and they want a card that reflects the brand as well as, the feel. I'm actually pretty shocked about that because there's an emphasis to transition to mobile payments. And with mobile payments, nobody really cares how the card looks. And frankly, I don't keep a credit card for an appearance, and neither should you. The earning rate and benefits are far more important than the looks of a card, in my opinion. There were some discussions about data and how we protect our credit based in discussions about user permission data and data protection, both from VantageScore and Experian were there. There's also a newer company called Bloom, and I had not heard of them before yesterday. And Bloom, it seems like it's a newer company, and what makes them interesting is that they're using blockchain technology to store data, store your credit data. And I actually like the way that it was sounding as they were talking about it. But as he was talking about it, I really felt for the current time with banks, it's too futuristic. I think it's, they currently have a small partnership. They have a partnership now with BMW Financial, so we could see some of this in the future. I think from a protection standpoint, anytime we can protect our credit, I think it's great for us as well as, just in general, especially all these data breaches. So there was actually a question I was just getting to about the Premier Rewards Gold. American Express was there. I did my best to get some stuff out of them. I did ask them about the upcoming changes, and they said they had no comment. They wouldn't confirm nor deny. Doctor of Credit says that he's got confirmation. Judging by their body language, I kind of felt that it was confirmed as well. I did have a viewer ask me a question about the SPG luxury categories on the American Express. I did bring this up to them, and they never gave me a direct answer on who was the catalyst for that. Was it American Express or Marriott? I was actually quite honest with American Express on quite a few things on what I think they need to change to build up and be more competitive with their competition. And that included another card in their portfolio, that Hilton Aspire. They said they're going to take that information back to the team, and hopefully we see some changes to it, because I can tell you I was not the only person talking to them about the lack of benefits from this SPG luxury card. In speaking to some people, apparently the American Express Platinum card is still out there incognito mode. We just need to keep looking for it. I've yet to find it, but I can tell you I'm going to start looking for it again because 100,000 platinum points is well worth it. From a personal standpoint, I made some connections with some banks out there as well as some bloggers. I had a couple banks ask me. They were very interested in the video reviews as opposed to necessarily just the blogging. They did ask me if I would review some credit cards for them, but I'm very honest with each and every person I spoke to. I'm personally not going to waste my time or your time reviewing credit cards that just aren't good for the wallet. So, they're going to send me information. You might see some reviews on smaller bank cards, which could be beneficial for everyone. But if it's not a good card, I'm not going to waste my time or your time talking about a credit card. Something that also as well, there were a lot of affiliate markets there, affiliate companies looking for that, and they're very interested in the video space. And I understand the reasons to monetize things. I've always been uneasy about that because I personally refuse to give up my integrity of my channel or the content I give to you for some clicks and dollars. I do definitely pride myself on that quite a bit. But overall, I thought CardCon was fantastic. If you're definitely interested in credit cards or writing about credit cards, I think it's definitely worth attending because there's a lot of great connections you're going to make here. And I think it's all the connections you make for networking are good in pretty any field. So let's see, I had a couple of questions. Let's see. Aaron, there were no, let's see, question on the City Explorer. Based on what I read about it, it seems like it's trying to compete with the Sapphire Preferred. I didn't really care for the 2X categories that I read about. I just think it's just another trying to chase Sapphire Reserve copycat. Unfortunately for the Explorer card, it doesn't have the ecosystem like Chase to really compete with them. All right, let's see. What's John say? It's a good idea to wait until January to get the Southwest Business, Southwest Personal, and then get the Companion Faster 2019. Can this still be done? You can still get the personal and a business card. You cannot do both on the same day anymore. That is correct. They've killed the double dip on cards. Chase has. If you keep an eye out, you could actually apply for those cards before January. You just would not want to hit the bonus until January for those. So keep an eye out for those. If it goes back up to 50 or 60,000 points on these cards, you might want to strike soon after October and hit it soon after January. But there's no need to wait until January to get the cards. All right. Hey, Witch Worker, thanks for joining in today. Targeted you, Aaron, for Delta Gold. After you get the Delta Gold, should I live life and get the 869s too? If you have a plan for them, I think there's no reason not to, especially if you're over 524. I personally have been burning American Airline miles left and right because they're just so easy to accrue. They're great for partner redemptions as well. If you're looking to go to Asia, you can use them on Cathay Pacific and Japan Airlines. You have a lot of great availability over to Europe, and they have some really good options as well domestically. Let's see, my opinion on the Premier Rewards Gold, is it going to shake it up? I definitely think the Premier Reward Gold is going to shake up things on the earning side. I think for U.S.-based shoppers and U.S.-based diners in grocery categories, I think you're going to see more people using this over its Chase Sapphire Preferred because of the fact that 4X category, the spot where it's not is the fact it is only U.S.-based categories. American Express, I told them this too, they need to drop that. That needs to go around the world, not just in the U.S. But here in the U.S., if you're a U.S.-based traveler and you like to eat out here or do a lot of shopping, I think people might actually use this card and give up the half point on the Everyday Preferred because of the fact of the 30 transaction requirement. If you were to just use, let's say, the Premier Rewards Gold as well as the Blue Business Plus, you have a really good earning rate between two of those there. Let's see. Seems like it's going to step on a lot of toes. I think so. I think the Premier Rewards Gold, it definitely does. I think a lot of people, what they get value though out of the reward system with Chase is that they can use the Chase portal for that 1.5 cents per point. And it just seems because coach tickets have been so cheap. I mean, even today there were tickets, I think, for like $2.50 over to Europe. It's a great use for those points. And American Express at 1 cent per point for airfare and 0.7 cents for hotels is pretty bad. They need to play catch up on these here. For the average local traveler, which hotel brand is more competitive? Right now, the World of Hyatt card, and I've been impressed with hotels. I love Hyatt. I think Hyatt is fantastic. They currently have, I think, the best award chart for reward redemptions. The biggest knock on Hyatt is their footprint. Their footprint is too small to really compete with the Hiltons because those are everywhere. I think Hilton right now is really gunning hard for a lot of those Marriott and disgruntled SPG customers. I mean, it's really hard to argue with 150,000 Hilton points and the flexibility of using them. I think that there's a lot of value in those there, especially when you take into consideration that Marriott and SPG have really made it hard for a lot of people to get those bonuses. And American Express is like, I mean, those are some big bonuses over there for quite a few days, especially for mid-level hotel ranges. But Hyatt is fantastic. If you stay there and your property's there, cash and points is fantastic. The ability to transfer your ultimate rewards at a one-to-one, to me, it's a no-brainer to stick with Hyatt if you're getting good value out of it, as well as you stay in areas where there's Hyatt hotels. All right, would I advise a person to go after the Chase after preferred or the business if they have one slot left? So if you currently have one slot left for the 524 Common Sense, I would get the business card first because that's not going to affect your 524 status. If you were over 524, they'll deny you for it. So if you get the business card first, you can come back for the Chase Sapphire Preferred as long as you haven't had the Preferred or the Reserve bonus in the last 4 years, because they did just make that change as well. So that's a very key point. But if you have one slot left, I would definitely currently have the Ink Unlimited. Yeah, you should still be fine to get the bonus on the Ink Preferred, and then afterwards look to get the Sapphire Preferred. If you get the Preferred first, then you're definitely going to lock yourself out of, or the Sapphire Preferred, you're going to lock yourself out of the Ink Preferred as well. So I would definitely go that avenue. Let's see. I think I answered everybody's question so far. All right. I did. So, all right, everyone. I want to thank, I am curious, though, what are your thoughts on the comments made by some of the banks about potentially shifting their focus to a more experience-based rewards? Does that interest you? Is that something you would do? Or are you just looking more so for, travel-based rewards? I want to thank you for tuning in this YouTube live event. Some great questions tonight. If you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. Or if you know somebody who might benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them. Remember, I post videos every Thursday, so if you like learning about credit cards, points, miles, or cash back, hit the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Safe travels and take care, everyone.